Okay, folks, welcome back. This will be either the tilty. That's not me wobbling. Um, I'll probably do one more video maybe after this. Either that or this is going to be a prolonged one with some pauses and stuff because I'd like to go over my general feeling on not just the KLR, not just the gear, but the whole experience, and give you a quick rundown, including the haircut. Um, So I left you off at in Manitoba, in Winnipeg, Headingly, on my last video, where I had a mishap, put her down in the gravel, which again I'm pretty sure I went over it on the last video. Stupid on my part. Just because you have a KLR doesn't mean you can drive a 200-pound bagged up bike down a gravel road like a moron. Managed to slow it down enough. So, you know what I mean? Again, I'll show you my hand. It's healing up. That was the worst of it. And of course, the two pairs of gloves on my bike were not on my hands. So they didn't help. Lesson learned. Wear your shit. And actually, that's something I do want to point out. I've never really cared about safety gear a whole lot on a bike, helmets included, because if you biff a tree at 100 kilometers an hour, I don't care if you have your safety gear on. You're toast. You know, the safety gear looks great when you're on a closed track and you slide gently across the pavement at 200 kilometers an hour and into some hay bales. But in the real world, you're usually going underneath a semi or into a rock embutment. So I've changed my mind a bit though. I had a long sleeve shirt on. I don't have it with me right now, otherwise, because I'd like to review a few things. But it was just a cheap construction shirt, neon green for high vis, which again I never would have worn before because it doesn't look good. But I don't care. It actually saved my arm pretty good, and that wasn't a design shirt with Kevlar or anything in it. So wear your gear, guys. You know what I mean? I get it when it's 35 degrees out. It sucks. And you're right. I probably won't do it. I still probably won't wear the gear at 35 degrees, but I will always wear my jeans with my knee-high socks because it really does make a difference on the stone impacts and the bugs and everything that hit your shins, as well as warmth. Highly recommend them. Harder to find than I used to, but it's definitely a positive. So after Headingley, so they got me all fixed up, got a new chain on. We're guessing that the chain got all effered because I must have got a rock between the chain and the sprocket, because I could actually lift the chain up and just drop it gently onto the sprocket to limp it into Winnipeg to have it fixed. And yes, folks, I understand it. I have a center stand. I could have put it on. I could have got my gear out. I could have tightened it up. I didn't. I just limped it in the 20 kilometers into Headingley and had them fix it because that's the way I roll. So after that, another interesting occasion happened to be that I went to a bunch of hotels. They were all booked. I don't know why everybody's booked in Winnipeg. Again, sorry guys. Trying to be positive, but Winnipeg, God, just go through it. Sorry. I'm sure there's something awesome about Winnipeg. I've just never seen it. Sorry. But I happened to stumble upon a hotel that had the trucker convoy people, Laura Lynn, Mark Friesen, and Sean Taylor talking. So that was sort of interesting. I went down, I listened to Mark talk. You know, he's definitely not as far gone as Alex Jones, but you know, he's that way. And Laura Lynn is the biggest Bible thumper I've ever met in my life. I had to walk out on her speech, so unfortunately I didn't get back in time to see or listen to Sean Taylor. Again, as I spoke with a PPC rep on the way out, and I said, hey, you know, I just can't stomach listening to a preachy preacher, whatever the heck she is. And he said, yeah, but we both agree that she has the right to say what she wants, and you have the right to walk out. I went, yes. I was like, yes, absolutely, 100%, you are correct. And that is why it's important. Because he didn't get upset with me for walking out. He didn't care. Because it's my right. Unfortunately, I'm going to try not to get too much into politics here, but unfortunately, a certain side of the table doesn't even want to listen to that. And that's an issue, Canada. I'm sorry. And the boys and the girls that know me know my position on a lot of these things, and I'm pretty out, yeah. Okay, so back to the bike. So left Winnipeg, of course, saw a couple more moose. I saw a cow calf and immature bull by the looks of it, because he was by himself. So awesome. Again, it doesn't matter how many times I see a moose, I still love it. I sent you guys the video of the grizzly bear randomly on the side of the road just outside of Banff. Awesome. I wish I could make you guys feel what I feel when I'm driving through and doing these things, because the experience is so much more powerful than a video. But some of you have jobs and kids and families and have responsibilities. Not this guy. So I'll do it for you, and you guys can live vicariously through me. So after I hit up Thunder Bay, after that, shittiest hotel of the trip, so they win an award. Manitoba, Winnipeg specifically area, worst roads in Canada. You guys win an award. Lethbridge area, worst weather, and again, sunshine, 25 degrees. But the wind, I'll say it again, 9,700 and some kilometers on this trip, and the only time I've been terrified, truly terrified, is driving through that wind tunnel. So you guys win. Shittiest fucking drive. Sorry, didn't mean to poo-poo on that. Winnipeg, worst roads ever. And if you don't fix them, people will die. Simple. I really should have stopped and taken some videos so you guys can really, really see what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about in Ontario where you get some snakes that are filled with some goo. I'm talking caverns, like canyons in the frickin' road. Come on, man. We pay enough taxes. Fix the roads. Period. Done. Okay. Worst hotel. Travel Lodge Inn in Thunder Bay. It was a trifecta of fight. It was me versus the spiders versus the ants. I think I won. We'll find out. If I start spinning webs and running around like an ant with superhuman power, then they obviously won and they infected me. What a shithole. That simple. It's disgusting. Now, go to the Sioux. I stayed at a small little place called Adams Motel. It was right beside the Fairmont, which was right beside Chuck's Roadhouse, which is awesome, because after 9 o'clock, half-price apps. Sweet! Just lay off the perfume a little bit, or whatever you guys put in your floors or your sheets or something. It's pretty mind-boggling how powerful it is. It smells like you're trying to, overpower like a dead body smell, which is all I could think of. There's a little like Dexter going on in the room before me, and you guys were trying to cover it up. But clean rooms, $100, which is still ridiculously expensive. But in today's day and age, $100 is just that. It's $100, and you're not going to get away from it. When kids get $15, $16 an hour to make a freaking Big Mac, $100 for a room is now going to be status quo minimum. Okay. Rest of the drive, I drove down to South Baymouth or something. I did a quick video or two that I may or may not post, just me on the ferry, and I took some pictures of the lighthouse and whatever else. Mostly because I was getting a little bit concerned about the rear tire on my bike. I got Metzler Tourants. Again, thank you boys at Inglis for getting them in immediately. Before my trip when my other plans fell through. And they were rated for 9,000 kilometers. I put 9,700 on it. The front is still fine, of course, as we all know. The rear is definitely getting flattened out, and it's down to the wear bar. So I was getting a little concerned about putting the extra kilometers on. And hey, the ferry's cool. So, and it's only $43. They're in peak season. And with gas I was well over $2 average across Canada. Still the highest price, I believe, was $2.39 in Northern Ontario, which, yes, it was actually more expensive than BC, Bring Cash County. So, took the ferry across to Tobermory and then came down and managed to arrive alive. And so happy about that. I had one other incident, near miss with a red squirrel. He decided to run in the middle of the road, or not, sorry, red squirrel. I was just looking at a red squirrel, and the little bastards, and you shoot you. I mean, you can't shoot them because they're protected. I'm not going to shoot it at all, ever. No. Red fox ran out in the middle of the road, and it was like at a turning lane with an off ramp, and it was just a big cluster of 3 vehicles and me in the middle going, this is where it goes down. It didn't, luckily. So I have only put it down once on this trip. And so from now on, if I put it down again, it doesn't count on this trip. It'll be a separate incident. Okay. So this is running on like 11 minutes right now. I didn't want to take this long because attention spans, mine included, aren't that long. I don't know whether I should just do another video. No, you guys can suck it up. I'm going to do a quick review on the bike and the gear. So, as I've probably mentioned before, it's a 2018 KLR 650. I bought it specifically because it was the last year of the carbureted motors. And then 2018, after this year, they canceled it, I think, for 2 years. Came back with EFI and ABS. I didn't want that strictly because my original plan before the world went crazy was to drive down to Argentina. And I really felt that having a single cylinder carbureted motor between here and Argentina and back in all the countries in the backwoods and, you know, the middle of the mountains and the swamps and the jungles, that with some duct tape and a hammer, I could get this bike to where I have to go. So that's why I bought it. Lots of reviews. The bikes have been made the same almost for 40 years. They had the one issue that I can tell was the doohickey, which is the timing chain tensioner. Google me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's right. Besides that, the thing is pretty bulletproof. You can drive it from Alaska. You can drive it in the deserts. You can drive it pretty much anywhere. Isn't it? Throw some, as my buddy Quay said, throw some mayo in the engine, and you can run it on that. That's how durable these bikes are, and it has been. This bike, 97K on this trip, pretty smooth, dude. I actually really surprised. Now, that being said, the seat is terrible. I replaced the seat with a Sargent seat extra large, thinking that would be, because of, again, reviews. There's a ton of different companies that you can go with. That's the one I went with. Not happy with it. I've gone through 5 different pads, from gel seats, air seats, gel seats with air seats, gel seats, air seats with gel seats and foam pads on top. I won't tell you why and what part of my body hurts, but it's the part that hits the seat. Figured out. So super disappointed with that. I don't know if I can do a 40,000 kilometer trip on this bike, only because of the seat. Now, that being said, there's a place in London here that does custom seats, but they're like $1,000, which starts to really cut into the whole point of having a KLR, which is a cheap bike and a reliable bike. You know what I mean? At that point, do you not just buy an African Twin or, a GS or something like that, which is what we'll look at next. So besides the seat, though, the bike ran and was exactly as advertised. Amazing. Yep, can't complain. I do have a few things that I'm going to do. I'm going to put the fork. I think either Eagle Mike has a good set of fork braces, basically, like a fork brace, so that your forks don't twist and turn as easily, which I did find happened. And then I had to have them adjusted. And then obviously when I biffed the bike in the gravel, I had a little bit of adjustment there as well. So that I will be doing. I will be upgrading my hand guards, because the ones that are on there are pretty big and catch a lot of wind. So I did get into some real high speed wobbles. Again, my own stupidity. You don't take a bagged out KLR and drive at 120 kilometers, 130 kilometers an hour around a bunch of transports in 100 kilometer an hour winds. Moron. That's all I am. It's actually, I won't say I'm a moron. I will say I'm inexperienced at this type of riding. And with all the riding experience that I have had in my life, I still, at this point after this trip, if I could, and if it's available, go on an adventure tour lessons. Because riding from a cruiser and a dirt bike to a KLR with, a pile of weight up top and bags sitting at the side, catching the wind, it's something that I haven't experienced before. And it comes back to, I think one of my first videos is, I really wish I would have had time to get some hours on the bike with the setup that I had before venturing out. So I do. I really agree that you should do that. And you can see in the background there, I had the Rotopack 2-gallon. It was empty for almost the whole trip. The reason I left it on and the reason that it was originally put on is for going up to Tuk up the Dempster. There's actually a section where there is not enough gas stations, and I actually would need to have extra gas with me. I did fill it up at one point in Alberta before I left to get higher gas prices to the east, and it was full when I dumped the bike. It's not the reason I dumped the bike, but it definitely, the top weight added to it. And of course, as we all know, either you have to have it totally full or totally empty, because it was slosh back and forth, which is, it wasn't an issue again. I had it totally to the rim full, specifically because I knew it would slosh back and forth and exaggerate any wobble that I got. So Rotopack held up. The backpack held up. I really liked my setup. I like what I did with it. The Riggs bags. So let's go and do a quick look here. The Riggs bags that I put on were not my first choice. Let's see what they are here. Nelson Riggs. The kit here was not my original plan. I planned on either GV or another reputable brand. Not that Riggs isn't, but I was planning on something a little bit more until prices doubled. So I went with the Riggs kit. And as you can see, after dumping, I've power washed it and cleaned it all up. But you can see I did get a little tear and a little tear there, and a little abrasion on the side here from when I dumped it. Not bad, So, do I recommend them? Yeah, I think they're a great product for a great price. Their rain gear, again, it's non-breathable. So you know what that means. Like I put it on expecting to get poured on, and I just get wet from sweating. So if you can, get some Gore-Tex, get something better. Get what you can afford. But, just for throwing gear on, the Riggs rain gear was fine. It just, understand what you're buying. So let's move over to another little thing that I didn't drive at all without, but it's this little thing called a cramp buster. And well, I didn't get any cramps, so busted. The only thing I will say is you have to learn how to use it. So when you're driving, you lift it up from below to get where your throttle is going to be. When you're driving in town or down a gravel road, switch it all the way back so it's straight down so your palm doesn't touch it at all. Otherwise, you will throttle when you don't mean to throttle. So it is a concern. But once you learn it, you're good. So recommend it as well. I recommend the Riggs gears. Again, I'm sorry, Sergeant, but the seat is just, it wasn't enough to overcome the issues with the KLR. Now, I don't know if another seat's going to help. I'm going to try, because I really don't want to give up on the bike based on the seat. But let's be honest, if you can't sit on it for more than an hour, you can't ride. So Other things that I had put on this bike were I will get down here. As you can see, these are well used now. I'll give you a quick view there. There was a little symbol right here that said SW Motec on it. I went with SW Motec for a lot of reasons, just research, and it kept coming up. There's a lot of good brands, but SW Motec seemed really good. So I put on the engine guard, the skid plate, the center stand, and the foot pegs were all SW Motec. And as you can see, it did exactly what it was supposed to be when I ditched it, and it protected the plastics. So super happy with that. You'll see the handguards that I'm talking about that are super big. These are the stock ones, and you can see the damage that I did to that, as well as the mirrors. Again, that's just part of the game. I don't have a serious problem with the handguards. It's just they are big, and just not talking, but researching after I've been in some of those high-speed wobbles, they said, one of the big things is these hand protectors are super big, and they will catch a lot of wind, as well as this monstrosity of a front fender. So those are things that I'm going to consider switching out, make the bike a little bit more aerodynamic. Now, when I bought the bike, it had this V-Stream raised tinted windshield, which was nice, but I'm only 5'10" and a bit, and I was still getting blown about on the highway. So what I did is a bunch of research, and I hated spending this amount of money, but it was $100 and some for this Pug adapt screen, which you can tilt, you can adjust up, you can adjust down. Sorry guys, I'm not a videographer. But the difference it made was uncanny. Without it, I wouldn't have been able to make the trip. It's that simple. So if you are interested, the quality is held up. It's been dumped, it's been smashed, it's been bashed, and it's still holding in and holding strong. So what other gear did I put on this? The simple, always favorable RAM mount for my phone, which is also obviously my GPS and entertainment. And then I put in let's see if I can get there, a little 12 volt charging station, again for the phone and my battery pack and everything else that I was carrying with me. So I believe that is about it. Like I said, I had more seat covers than I could imagine. This is like a computer. Oh, here we go. How do we do this? Nope, that's not working. Sorry, guys. So I had this air seat, which looks like an Airhawk, but it's not. It's a cheap $40 one from Amazon. And this gel seat from Canadian Tire that's for like an office chair. I got through it, so we'll stop bitching about the seat and move on. The rest of the gear, I think I've pretty much gone over. Like I said, I had Metzeler Tourants, tires put on by Inglis Cycle the day before I left, and I anticipated that it would be a full set by the time I got back. And the front's not bad. You mean like typical front. Rear tire is at the bars. So I had the boys at Inglis there working on yet another set of tires for me. I'm probably going to go more back to like some 50/50s or 60/40s to hit those gravel roads without wiping out, hopefully, as much. But I'm sure it's going to happen again. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when you ride as much. That or I'm just not good. One or the other. That's always possible too. It's not like I'm a enduro rider here extraordinaire. So we'll get a little picture of my trailer in the background here. There we go. So that's what I live in, folks. I am trailer park trash, and proud of it. So okay, well, that's 24 minutes. That's way too long, and I've probably missed some stuff. But yeah, I'd like to thank everybody, that helped me out with this. Like I said, I've mentioned Headingley in just outside of Manitoba, or just outside of Winnipeg, Manitoba. They were really good to me. I forget the girl's name there that helped me with all the helmets, but she really walked me through it. The staff there were good. English, of course. I'd like to thank them for getting me in and you know, giving me hands with this, as well as my Polaris Ranger and stuff like that. And my family, of course. Somebody had to watch my dog, and I appreciate it, guys. Otherwise, I would not have been able to do this trip. Max does not do well on the back of the motorcycle. We were just gonna tarp him down and see what happened, but apparently it's frowned upon. So next time I'll have to get a sidecar on the KLR and sidecar him all the way out for the next trip. So that is pretty much the end of this trip and this adventure. What I might do is, because I'm liking this idea of being able to remember some stuff, because I've hit my head, and obviously again this time I hit my head. These videos help me to be a reminder, as well as what I learned from the previous trip. So I'll probably do a video or something next week. We're going up to our camp. Well, not our camp, but a camp that I'm luckily allowed to go to and do some quadding. And we'll see how that adventure plays out and go from there. And then, you know, we'll see. If I get more than 3 subscribers, folks, you never know. This could launch me. Could absolutely launch me. And if I ever got more than 10 subscribers, I would be baffled. And obviously donate all the money to a cause of my choosing, which would be something obviously up my alley, which would be more right than left, folks. Okay, well, peace out.